the Salvation Hoopla. All of Christianism proclaims its doctrine of salvation far and wide, but it is a perversion of God's Word, and so it is a hoopla. This does not mean exciting, but is defined in the dictionary as speech or writing intended to mislead or to obscure an issue. Mention the word salvation, and it conjures up dreams of going to heaven. In the King James Version of the Bible, there are two Hebrew words used in the Old Testament which are translated salvation. Both of these words are also translated deliverance and help. At no time do the 100+ verses in which these words are used give any implied meaning of going to heaven. In every instance, salvation, deliverance, and help are used for the here and now on earth, and not for some event that transports one from earth to heaven for a future existence. The church kike professors of the Salvation Hoopla are not deterred for one moment simply because there is no Old Testament foundation to support their aberration. They brush aside the entirety of the Old Testament by saying, "We are New Testament Christians." The New Testament is translated from manuscripts written in Greek, and there is only one Greek word, soteria, translated salvation, and it is also translated deliverer in Acts 7:25. Of all the times soteria is translated salvation in the New Testament, not one instance is there of any innuendo as to this being the train ride to heaven. The salvation of the old is the same salvation of the new. God did not change his plan, and what he is doing is delivering us from that which is going on here and now in the earth. Read the verses using the word deliverance instead of salvation, and the present enigma taught by Christianism's corrupt dogma will vanish as the dew in the noonday sun. The Apostle Paul, speaking about Jesus in Hebrews 5:9, says, "And being made perfect, he became the author of eternal salvation, deliverance, unto all them that obey him." This eternal salvation is not deliverance from the everlasting torment of hell into the blissfulness of heaven because someone accepts Jesus, lives an exemplary life, attends church, gives tithes, obeys the government's law, pays their taxes, or any other such rubbish. It is through obeying him that we receive the eternal deliverance which he authored. What is obedience to Jesus? It is not anything taught in the churchified cesspools of Christianism, which is nothing more than the synagogue of Satan. It is not embracing the sinful violation of God's law in the name of love and tolerance. It is not the citation of canon, doxology, edicts, pronouncements, declarations, rites, rituals, or any other contrivance of the commandments of men. No matter what the denominational flavor of religious Kool-Aid is drunk, it is still Kool-Aid. All the mumbo-jumbo of doing this and not doing that is not going to get anyone off this hellish earth that they have created and through the pearly gates. This contaminated Christian cohort would turn heaven into the very hell they are fleeing. God's Word does not teach their pie-in-the-sky idiocy. So, what is obedience to Jesus? In John 14:15, he simply states, "If you love me, keep my commandments." He goes on in John 15:10 by saying, "If you keep my commandments, you shall abide in my love, even as I have kept my Father's commandments and abide in his love." Matthew 5:17 through 19 is a commandment from Jesus. "Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy the law, but to fulfill prophecy. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law, till all be fulfilled. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments, and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven." His commandments are his Father's commandments, and through obedience to these, we are saved, delivered from the evil of this present time. This is our prayer: deliver us from evil. And Jesus prayed, saying, "I pray not that thou shouldest take them out of the world, but that thou shouldest keep them from the evil." Salvation is deliverance from evil, sinful transgression of God's law. And Jesus came into earth to bring deliverance from this, as stated in Matthew 1:21. "Call his name Jesus, for he shall save his people from their sins." Salvation's not for followers, believers, or acceptors, but for his people. Do you know who they are? Or only who the Christianized synagogue of Satan says they are? "For the Son of Man is come to save that which was lost." Matthew 18:11. Jesus had already said who the lost were in Matthew 15:24. But he answered and said, "I am not sent, but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel." He told the disciples in Matthew 10, "But go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel." Paul declares this same truth in Romans 11:26. "And so all Israel shall be saved, as it is written, there shall come out of Zion the deliverer, and shall turn away ungodliness from Jacob." Jesus came to save his people Israel from their sins. No, the Jews are not now nor ever have been the Israel of the Bible, but are in reality the children of the devil. Jesus said in John 8:44, "You are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father you will do." If you think this is taken out of context, then read John 8:31 through 59. To understand salvation, it is necessary to know what the Scriptures say about the people to whom it pertains and who they are.